has been one of the key hallmark pieces of my legislation. And I'm known not necessarily for just the 10th Amendment resolution that I passed last year that Governor Henry vetoed, which is a kind of a strange thing. But there's other things that I have been the leader on in the state of Oklahoma. I led not only the state, but the nation in the repeal of the Real ID Act, which was an unconstitutional act perpetrated by Congress on the citizens of this state. I led this nation. 37 other states copied my legislation, and since then have actually opted out of Real ID just like we have. I've also led the nation and the state stopping the unconstitutional NAFTA superhighway from coming up through the state of Oklahoma. I was a Senate author this year of opting out of Obamacare, and we use the old belt and suspenders method. That will be on the ballot for you to vote on this year. We have a constitutional amendment. I also wrote legislation to put that in the statutes, and also wrote legislation that would allow the Senate Pro Tem and the Speaker of the House to join in that lawsuit with the other states. I have led on these issues, and I recognize something extremely important today. If we have a chance to take our country back, and I truly believe we're in trouble in our nation, and a lot of the policies that have come from the halls of Washington, D.C. have now literally infected the state of Oklahoma. But if we have a chance to take our country back, it will be when the governor of the state stands up against the federal government and says, if it's not in Article 1, Section 8, no, I will not subject the citizens of this state to anything that's unconstitutional. I will lead the entire state of Oklahoma and this nation in nullifying anything that comes against you and when it comes to the federal government and states' rights.
Not long ago, I put on my Facebook blog, "Thank you, Mr. President, for sending a bucket of water balloons to a forest fire in Arizona." I think it is ridiculous, again, when government fails, they blame the people. And I am sick and tired of taking the blame for something that I did not do, nor did the state of Oklahoma do. And I pledge you 100% to stand up for states' rights. Some of you know that I have a 30-year history, at least, in the horse business. And I had a guy ask me at a horse fair not long ago, he said, "What makes you think you're tough enough to stand up to the federal government?" And I simply looked at him and said, "Have you ever been bucked off a horse and stomped and got back on?" That took care of that argument. And that's the way I feel. I'm not afraid of anything or anybody. Never have been. Maybe not smart, but I've lived this long, and we're going to continue to live. It is again about the people of Oklahoma, and we're going to protect their rights. I stand behind Governor Jan Brewer 100%. They call it racial profiling. It's not blonde-headed, blue-eyed Scandinavians that's coming across the border. So what else, are you thinking? That's pretty much how I feel about the 10th Amendment and where we stand and what rights we have as citizens of the United States that we have fought and died for, paid for our freedom, and I stand behind that 100%.
Due to time constraints, now we're going to close out with each of the candidates giving us 1 minute closing statements. We'll start with Congressman Fallon. And at the end of that, as we conclude, and if you all get your ballots out, and you're ready to take the straw poll as soon as we conclude here. So,
well, let me just first of all say thank you all for coming today, and I am very excited about the opportunity of serving as your next governor of the state of Oklahoma. So first of all, I ask for your vote, and I would appreciate that. And I have over 20 years experience in government. I have been in the private sector. I won the National Manager of the Year before I became in politics, by cutting my expenses, increasing my profits. I've had to worry about hiring and firing employees. I know how to run a business. I've had legislative experience of accomplishing things in the legislature, serving the executive branch for 12 years. I've been in the federal government in Washington, D.C. and Congress for 4 years. I know the challenges that we have ahead of us. I know the threats that are in our state. Our next governor is going to have to focus on creating a better, more stronger, prosperous economy, creating jobs, opportunities, reforming government, balancing the budget, improving education, improving health care, fighting the battles. I have a conservative record. I got a 96% lifetime conservative rating. I'm pro-life. I've been rated A by the NRA, and I have the conservative credentials to run the state and will be proud to represent the Republican Party. Thank you so much.
I go back to my opening statement. This governor's race is about leadership and it's about vision. And I have a crystal clear vision on where Oklahoma needs to be. And I know how to get us there. And it's not with one more government plan. It's not with a government bailout. It's not with earmarked spending from our stimulus. It is about creating jobs, utilizing the marketplace, allowing individuals to compete in a fair and open market, not being favored by government. Now I'm asking for your support, and we truly have an opportunity ahead of us in this next coming year. And I believe, again, if we're going to take our country back, if we're going to change course, get back going in the right direction, it's going to take some bold, courageous leadership out of this governor's office. If you look at my slogan on my information that I send out, you'll see one thing: no strings attached. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It has been my extreme pleasure to be here with you today and to see some faces that I've seen around the state and a lot of faces that aren't here that I've seen around this state. I ran a federal credit union for a number of years. I have the corporate experience to handle the state budget. I have owned a number of small businesses. I understand like you cannot unless you know what it is to have to come up with all the regulations and to pay all the fees and pay employees before you get anything for yourself. I have an agricultural background. I'm the only candidate on this platform that has the background that it takes to understand all of Oklahoma, and I do. And again, it is about the people. And if you will elect me, I will represent everyone.
If elected governor, my administration pledges to change our budget picture from its current red deficit to a black surplus. Nothing should go forward until this budget deficit is fixed. If this were an airplane flying from LA to New York, it's going to crash in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Nobody is giving the budget enough attention, but can anybody put their arms around $1.2 billion? That's what we need to make it through next year. If you want a new face to lead state government, I'm sitting right here. I'm ready to take action. I know how to cut and I know how to reorganize. We can't combine the Department of Corrections with the Pardon and Parole Board. That should be a no-brainer. But my campaign could use your help, your vote, your support, your money. Please consider jacksonforokgov.com. Thank you for your time.
All right, everybody will get their ballots out now and just take a moment. I'm sure there's going to be some individuals coming around with a basket for you to throw your ballots in. And we're going to take a few minutes, so they'll take them out, count our ballots, and come back to the results. I want to thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our candidates today. Difficult task to run for office, as anybody that's helped support campaigns can realize, so they deserve all our support. I'm going to ask at this time if our newly elected state chairman, Mr. Matt Fennell, would come up here and say a few words while the ballots are being counted.